Hello, veterans of America. Our World War I, World War II, World War III, World War IV heroes, whatever you want to call it, I'm here to assist with filing for VA disability claims. Now, I'm not going to go into all of my credentials other than I was a former Veterans Benefits Disability Counselor, and I also worked a lot with widows. Being the child of a Vietnam veteran, the wife of a veteran, the granddaughter of a World War I hero, and so forth and so on, I think it kind of gives me a little bit more of a view of what veterans go through. And I also understand your irritation with the Department of Veteran Affairs, because having dealt with the paperwork and the legalities with the Department of Veteran Affairs, I'm very well aware of how much irritation that you have and why you don't get your decisions in a timely manner. And I will try or attempt to explain that as we go on, and I show you or tell you or assist you in trying to file a disability claim. The first thing that I need to make you aware of is if you have a county veteran service officer in your area, by all means contact them. They are supposed to be trained in VA law. If you have no resources in the county, in some states they do not have that, unfortunately you have to deal directly with the Department of Veteran Affairs. Normally they do have someone who will assist you. If you need outside assistance, I will urge you to contact your local VFW, DAV, AMVETS, Paralyzed Veterans of America. They do veterans disability claims. You do not have to be a paralyzed veteran for that to occur. If you have none of these things or resources available to you, or you don't trust them, and speaking of trust, I would like to urge you to understand that there are people out there that are claiming to be your friend and they are your advocate, but they want to charge you money. Don't pay them. It's against the law for them to do that. Most of these services I just mentioned before I said that are free. If they ask you for money or 20% off the top, or have you sign blank documents, you need to question that, because there are people out there committing fraud, and it is rampant, folks. The IRS just said we have billions we're paying out on false claims. Same with the Department of Veteran Affairs. There's billions being paid out in false claims. So you need to be very aware that there are people out there who will prey on you because you are a veteran, or you're disabled, or you have something wrong with you. They'll stand at the doors of the VA and pass out flyers. Don't do that. Go to a accredited place like VFW, AMVETS, places that you know about, you've heard on the news. Don't use these fly-by-night outfits, because they're just after your money and they're making bukus of bucks off the top, and you don't want that. Now, if you have need of a VA attorney, by all means contact one, but I will discuss why and when you will need one. You shouldn't need one if you do things correctly and by the book. Now, speaking of by the book, I want to talk to you about some books that are available that you can order off of Amazon.com, eBay, or any other book organizations out there that are legitimate. And these books can assist you in filing a VA claim. I do know in my area DAV does use these. They are called The Survival Guide for Veterans. That's how to file your claim. If your claim is denied, there's a book on Claim Denied, how to go about filing your Notice of Disagreements and Appeals. And then, of course, for veterans with PTSD or TBI, there is the PTSD Handbook. These are all written by a man by the name of John D. Roach. His qualifications are in the book. They are excellent. They may be a little outdated, but it should be okay. The next thing that we need to talk about is that you need to be aware that when you file a VA claim, like any organization, the normality is that your claim will initially be denied. Now, those denials are usually because those claims are not complete, and we need to talk about what a complete claim consists of, where you need to obtain that information that you need to make that claim perfect. If you have a complete claim, it goes through the mailroom, goes to handlers. Basically, they take those claims and they pass them out to ever how many decision people are out there that make decisions. Easy claims should be denied at the county level. They should let us do that, but they don't. They do have guidelines. There are frivolous claims out there, folks. That's what causes your backlog. There's people out there that are claiming to be your friend and are filing claims that do not make any money. They won't get you anywhere, and they take years to go through, and it backlogs the VA. In the defense of the VA, you got to understand that they have to ensure that this is you. They have to make sure that there's not someone out there trying to take your 20% of your back pay. Believe me, I've brought in $500,000 on back pay. I know what I'm talking about. I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I love my country. I love the soldiers. I love my dad, my grandparents, all the way back to the American Revolution. And I want you to be aware that there are benefits available. I don't want to feed negativity into these videos. The Department of Veteran Affairs is backlogged. They have a huge backlog. But you also have to understand, when you have folks out there filing claims that are frivolous, that are not anything to do with what actually happened to you in the military, they just pick something out of the air and file 33 issues, you're going to be denied. They want you denied. That's how they get paid. Now, you can win a claim with the first filing if you do everything you need to do. For veterans who have never filed a claim and do not have your military records, the first thing out of the box is you need your DD-214, which is your discharge. If you have a DD-215, which is a correction of your initial discharge, obtain them. Get all of your military records. This is the very first piece of information you need to do. Get your DD-214s, to DD-215s, and every piece of military records that you have in your possession and the government has. If you do not know where to go, I'm getting ready to tell you. If you have access to the computer, you can go to www.nprc.gov, and it's going to ask you several questions, and one of them is applying for DD-214. It's going to pop up a form called a SF-180. On that 180, you will complete your date, your birth date, your social, all the necessary information, and then it's going to come to a section where it says Other. And you're going to write in Other, in this space, or type medical, clinical, judicial, non-judicial, and medals. You want all your medals. They're free the first time. If you don't have them, get them. Again, that's nprc.gov, DD-214, fill in Other with medical, clinical, judicial, and non-judicial with medals. And it's going to ask you what this is for. This request is for complete records. You want all your records. If you've been hospitalized, treated, had physical therapy for any condition, please by all means get all those records. You're going to need them. The VA will ask for them. It takes a long time for these records to be copied and sent to you. The VA gets the originals. If you don't get them first, you will not get a complete record. So you need to order that. That is the biggest part of filing your claim, is your military history. You need all of it. Believe me, black and white, it's the law. You need to get it all. Now, once you have received all of your VA records, you need to sit and go through your disability section, and that will be your clinical and your medical. Now, when I talk about judicial and non-judicial, I'll get into that, but it's very, very essential that you understand that all these records need to be obtained. If later on you need an attorney, he's going to ask for all of this. So you need to ensure that you have everything that you need to file your claim, and that you know or are aware of what rules are behind the claims you're going to file. The 38 CFR, Chapter 17 and 18 are all laws regarding VA. This will be your Gulf War veterans, World War II veterans, all the way back to the beginning. I know there's not any World War I vets alive, but there are a lot of World War II, Korea, Vietnam, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you were involved in actions in Somalia or Africa, Bosnia, and those related military actions that America had, you do qualify for VA benefits. Don't think you don't. My husband was on the EWA when the Libya blew up the Marines there back in '83, and he has problems with that. He doesn't believe it, but he does. So ensure that all of your records are intact. They're in your possession. The VA will get your originals. You will never see those originals again, neither will NPRC. So you need to be the first to obtain those. If you have private doctors, those records will also need to be obtained. And then we'll talk about Nexus on the next video. I only get 15 minutes on YouTube, so I'm not able to tell you everything that you need to know in one sitting. And that's why I say that, if you keep watching, I will explain it. If you have a claim going, I'll try to answer questions. If you ask them, I will type in and respond as much as possible. I'm unemployed, so internet could be iffy around here. I'm going to try to keep it on going as long as possible. Now, the fact is that I'm doing this, I'm not going to get paid. This is all because I want the veteran to have an explanation of how things work. I know a lot of veteran service representatives or officers out there, they don't explain. They just say sign here, and they throw in some paperwork and say we'll need this, we'll need this, we'll need this. Well, what you need to understand is what's going on, why it's happening that way, and never, 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 ever sign a blank form. You make them tell you what you're signing and read the small print. For Christ's sakes, these people can take you to the cleaners if you sign blank forms. Believe me. I will get into that on part 2. This is part 1, an introduction on how to file VA disability claims. Thank you.